It seems as that the Sega's president. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. It's hard trying to pronounce some of these Japanese names, but he came out and admitted that the company is basically they dropped the ball too many times over the last decade, and now he's basically saying that he want to turn things around and regain a lot of gain our trust again. And he basically said, we did our best to build relationships of mutual trust with older fans of Sega, but looking back, there have been some titles that have partially betrayed that trust in the past 10 years. Basically, Sega in the 90s was known for its brand, but after that, we lost trust, and we were left with nothing but reputation. For this reason, we like to win back the customer's trust and become a brand once again. And, man. What can I say about this? As much of a Nintendo fan that y'all know that I am, I was more of a Sega fan in the 90s and the early 2000s, and it freaking sucks. Like, I know a lot of y'all has been waiting on Sega to make that big, huge comeback into the console market. Because we already know that Sega has some really great IPs. You got the Sonic the Hedgehogs, used to be great until they came out with Sonic Knight and Unleash and Sonic Boom, and oh my gosh, I don't know what the hell they was thinking. They should just gave us Sonic Adventures 3 like we've been asking for a long time, because the old Sonic Adventures 1 and 2 was very great on the Dreamcast. A really good game. I really enjoyed that. And Sega, they dropped the ball. They've dropped the ball for over 20 years. Like, they've been doing some questionable business decisions, and of course, their last successful console was the Sega Genesis. And yes, whenever the Sega Genesis busted on the scene with the, of course, it's called the Mega Drive out there in Europe, and Japan, and I guess with the Sega Genesis, they didn't want to let it go, and whenever the 32-bit era had started, they didn't want to let it go. So what they did, they tried to make a poor man's 32-bit console, basically a fifth generation console. Basically, it's not a fifth generation console. That's the Sega Saturn, and we already know about the Sega Saturn that was rushed into the market. After the Sega 32X was a commercial failure. It was basically out by less than a year, and it was so horrendous that the damn thing didn't even get third-party support. It had maybe less than 40 titles on the 32X, so they here scrapped that and gave us a Sega Saturn, which was not on the market no longer than 4 years out here in North America, and in Europe it was only out there in Europe for 3 years. In Japan, it was mostly successful out there in Japan, so it was only out there for 5 years. And don't get me wrong, Sega Saturn has some great games, and what killed it is Sega still rushing things, with the surprise release of the Sega Saturn, and they knew they fucked up. So what they did, they hurried up and rushed another system called the Sega Dreamcast. In my opinion, it's one of the best consoles of all time, even though it don't have that many games, but it had one of the most memorable games of all time. And Shenmue, does that ring a bell? A lot of us fans been raving for Shenmue 3 for over 10 years, and we finally get to have it. The Sega Dreamcast was known for Shenmue 1 and 2, House of the Dead, NBA 2K, NFL 2K. For all y'all NBA 2K fans out there, yes, it started on the Dreamcast, which was part of Sega Sports. So yes, that was the shit back then. You got games like, I mentioned Sonic Adventures 1 and 2 a while ago, Phantasy Star Online. They had Resident Evil Code Veronica. They had so many good titles on the Dreamcast. It sucked that they basically when Sega went bankrupt, and they had no choice but to stop production of the Dreamcast, because it wasn't about the console that was basically, of course the console was kind of a failure, but it wasn't the reason why Sega had to stop production. It was basically Sega was losing a lot of money because of the past mistakes that they did with the 32X and the Sega Saturn, rushing those consoles, and all of a sudden it alienated the sales and the hypeness of the Dreamcast, even though the Dreamcast had a lot of great games. And of course, if a lot of y'all didn't know, the Dreamcast was the very first console that supported online gaming, you know. And like I say, it really sucked, you know, for the Dreamcast. And you know, with the games that Sega has been doing these past few years, half-assing these games. And do I gotta say Sonic Boom for an example? Like, that was an embarrassment. Like, I don't know what the hell Sega is doing. They is tarnishing the Sonic fan base. They tarnishing that game. And oh my, like, I don't even know what to say about that. That was an embarrassment of a game, and I don't know what else to say. And of course, Sega said that they want to regain their trust, and it's kind of hard to trust them with all the bullshit mistakes that they've been doing over the years. And of course, if you've been following me for a long time, I've been a huge Sega fan, man. I love their games. You know, I go all the way to the Sega Genesis. It was the Shinobis, you know, with the, you know, with the Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, with the Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, you know, games like those. And Golden Axes, you know, those games was very, very fun. And of course, you have Street Fighters and Mortal Kombat, you know, of course, those third-party games, but I'm really talking about the, you know, Sega games. You know, you got Comic Zone, you know, Vector Man, you know, those games I really enjoyed. You know, Strider. Like, they had a lot of good games on the Sega Genesis. Like, if you was a Sega Genesis fan and a Nintendo fan, a Super Nintendo fan back then, or if you owned both consoles, like I did back then, yes, you really had a great time being a gamer. And I spent a majority of my time on my Sega Genesis and my Super Nintendo. You know, I enjoyed Super Mario World. You know, I enjoyed Donkey Kong Country. You know, I enjoyed those games. But you know, Sega Genesis, it had my attention. It was so freaking fun. And you know, it was just you know, fast forward, you know, for over 20 years ago until the present. It sucks that I'm reminiscing about how much fun I had with Sega back then. And right now, Sega is basically just now admitting how fucked up they been, and how much they freaking caused a lot of us fans to just turn our backs on them. Because, oh my gosh, like, it sucks. It really sucks. And it would really be nice if Sega would come back into the console market. I wish they will, because you know, with Nintendo, what they're doing, you know, business wise, it's just not looking too good for Nintendo. You know, if all these rumors is true, and if Nintendo drop another ball next generation, and basically they gonna if you know, we already know about, they are not going to compete on a power level of the PS4, and the PS4 is an 8th generation console, and the NX supposed to be a 9th generation console. So Nintendo is still taking 2 steps back, you know, as far as the gaming console. And you know, it's just the way things is going with Nintendo. If you look at every Nintendo console generation, the sales declines a lot. If you, let's take out the Wii. We already know why the Wii sold so much. If you just look at the NES, Super NES, Nintendo 64, GameCube, and the Wii U, look at those sales, and you see how much of a drop the Nintendo sales went, because a lot of Nintendo fans, they couldn't deal with it no more. And if these rumors are true, and if they're doing that same bullshit next generation, what's the point of Nintendo still making consoles? Because I don't really understand what's the point of paying that much money for a console that doesn't get any third-party support and doesn't have the standard features that you see in Xboxes and PlayStation. Like, I still don't understand. I really don't. And you know, if Nintendo, if they want to get out the console market because of their stupidity, then this would be a great time for Sega to redeem themselves and come back with some fucking heavy hitters. Like, I'm just being real. All the games that we enjoyed from 20 years ago, from 15 years ago, from the games, from the Dreamcast, from the Saturns, from the, the Sega Genesis, all those games. If they could just find a way to give us back those older franchises that we enjoyed so much, and I swear to God, Sega, whatever, if they ever come back in the console market, whatever the name, the console name going to be, it's going to sell really well, because there are still a lot of Sega fans out there, including myself. But anyway, guys, I just want to just put my little 2 cents in. Of course, the CEO and president of Sega, admitting that they had dropped the ball too many damn times, and of course, he's basically trying to redeem himself, basically saying they are trying to do better as a company and spit us out some more games and everything. And like I say, hopefully Nintendo, hopefully Sega will get their shit together and give us the games that us true original Sega fans been wanting for the past 15 to 20 years. I'm just being real. But anyway, guys, y'all just let me know how y'all feel about this entire situation. If y'all grew up playing Sega just like I did, and y'all understand the exact pain that I'm feeling right now, because it sucks, man. It sucks, if you're a Sega fan and you're just waiting for that big comeback for Sega, but I don't know, like I say, if Sega ever come back in the home console market, I'm gonna say maybe 1 or 2 more generations, later. I just basically what I'm thinking. Maybe they trying to wait until Nintendo get out the console market, and right now with the kind of stuff Nintendo is doing, they go drop their sales out the console market because of the stupid shit they are doing. And if that ever happens, then it's time for Sega to come back so I can relive my childhood that I've been wanting for a very long time. Anyway, I'm done just talking and being a Sega fanboy. But anyway, y'all just let me know how y'all feel about this. Like, comment, subscribe, and once again, this is your boy Rick Game 27, and y'all have a good day.